Hello, party people. All right, we are live on both YouTube and Facebook today. Awesome job. Yay, go me. I'm always excited when it works. Okay, so let me get this right here. Okay, so we are back. Gut Goodies, episode 9. Holy moly, this is a 10-week series and we're on episode 9. That means we have 1 week left in this particular series. And I am so happy to be with you guys today. So say hi in the chat. Let me just see who is all here, whether you're watching live or the replay. I'm just curious to see who tunes in. So I'm just gonna dive right in today because this is a juicy topic. We're talking about sleep. And I'm sure as soon as I say sleep, some of you are like, what's that? Right? Those of us with kids and with busy jobs and, what have you. Some of us are just immune to not knowing what sleep is. So I invite you, first off, to kind of let go of some of those preconceived notions you have about sleep, and kind of open up your mind today as we dig into this. So this whole series has been about the gut, right? So we're talking about how our habits affect our gut and how our gut affects our habits. So how does sleep affect our gut? Sleep is a big habit, right? So we know that the well-being of our gut is super important, and the balance of the healthy flora and all of that is super important. So our sleep actually affects the well-being of our gut. And if we have poor quality of sleep, that can affect all kinds of hormone production, including the hormones for hunger and for fullness. So it regulates the hormones that regulate food intake. So lack of sleep affects our appetite, and our appetite, we eat more, that can lead to obesity. So sleep, appetite, and obesity actually are kind of like this. So if we sleep good, then our gut flora will be balanced and healthy, and we can produce those hormones, and we can have a better quality of gut in there. So hi everyone, Austin, Raylan, Ashley, Amber, Miguel, nice to see you guys. And yeah, when we're talking about sleep here, we're talking about the quality of sleep. You're going to hear me say quality a lot. And that's not the same as quantity, right? So quality, obviously, are you sleeping through the night? Are you waking up every couple hours? When you fall asleep, do you stay asleep? Do you have trouble even falling asleep? Do you need to take a sleep aid? Things like that. Whereas quantity, obviously, is how long you sleep. So say you sleep for 8 hours, you go to bed at 10 o'clock and you wake up at 6 o'clock, but you're still groggy, maybe you're still tired, maybe you're achy. This can come down to our gut. So this transition between day into night, we have this internal body clock, right? We have this circadian rhythm, it's called, which is our body clock, and it regulates our body function. But that rhythm also affects our gut. And our gut, all the microbes in there, all the organisms, everything that is used to produce hormones is regulated also by this certain rhythm. And their activity depends on our day and night schedule, which obviously can affect other organs as well. So this is what's important about getting on a sleep schedule. Lots of scientists and health gurus of sorts will say that it's optimum to wake up a certain time in the morning or the same time in the morning as you go to sleep, the same time at night. So say you have a schedule, 10 p.m. you're in bed, but you're not asleep until like maybe 11 or midnight because you're on your phone, you're watching TV, things like that. And then you wake up, 6 a.m., that can affect your quality of sleep if you get off that rhythm. So super important to have that body clock on a rhythm to keep your circadian rhythm in balance to allow for those body functions. And one of those functions is obviously that hormone production that I was just talking about. So when we talk about sleep deprivation can lead to a lot of things. It can lead to appetite imbalance, which then leads to food cravings, which can then lead to weight gain because we're just eating, right? And this is because the lack of sleep actually decreases the hormone that's responsible for feeling full. It's called leptin. So when we have a lack of this hormone production, what happens? If there's an imbalance over here, it's going to be imbalanced over here. And that's when we have an increase of, now I'm going to try and pronounce this right. It's ghrelin. And that's the hormone produced to balance hunger, to regulate hunger. And we can think of it as like growling, like our body is growling because it's hungry, the ghrelin hormone. I actually got that from Health Coach Institute where I went to school. But yeah, so when we have this lack of sleep that's decreasing the leptin hormone responsible for fullness, and then it's increasing the hunger hormone, what happens? So when we don't sleep, leptin, that fullness hormone, can't control or signal to the body when it's full. And then ghrelin is over here growling up a storm like, hey, keep eating because we can't tell if we're full. So I'm going to say that again. When we lack sleep, and I mean quality of sleep, leptin can't control when our body is full. So ghrelin peaks up and is like, hey, keep eating more food. So this is where weight gain can come into play really quickly. And that's where obesity comes into play because we're, weight gain, obesity, that's what it leads to. So does that make sense for everybody? Because these hormone imbalances are super important when it comes to our gut and helping us regulate not only our, our appetite and everything, but like, how we eat throughout the day is then impacted, right? So if anybody has any questions as I go through this, as always, pop them in the chat and I will surely answer them. So yeah, the other part of sleep deprivation is it affects the part of our brain that's actually controlling impulses. So a lot of people that say they can't control when they're overeating, like they just can't stop eating, right? This is probably linked to suffering from poor sleep quality. And again, we're talking about quality, not quantity. So if you're one of those people that are like, ooh, I find myself that I can't control myself when I'm eating, think about your sleep habits. Think about how much your quality of sleep is, and see about making some adjustments, and we'll get to that here in a minute. So when we have this sleep deprivation, we are just really putting havoc on our gut because it's not allowing it to produce and thrive at optimum levels. So if we increase our digestion and our gut health overall, we can absolutely solve sleep problems and vice versa. So I just wanted to make sure everybody understands that, because that was, it kind of gets sciencey a little bit. But when you understand that when we don't sleep very well, our hormones are imbalanced and our gut produces the hormones for, fullness and hunger. So when they're imbalanced and we eat and eat and eat and eat and eat, and then our brain is like, okay, I don't know if I'm full or not. So I'm just going to keep saying eat, eat, eat until I feel full. And then it never feels full because these hormones are imbalanced. So I hope that all makes sense. All right. So we've talked about how sleep affects the gut. So now let's talk about how our gut actually affects our sleep. So our microbiome, or our gut, that houses all of our bacteria, even the viruses, like all of that is, there's some things in there that are good. There are some bacteria that are good for us in our body. All of that flora, the healthy flora, balancing out the potentially harmful flora. So when we have an effect of our microbiome being off, it in turn affects our body clock, like I was saying, our circadian rhythm, and it hinders the sleep and wake cycle. So if our bodies aren't producing the hormones it needs to tell our brain to wake up, like, hey, it's morning, time to get up, then our whole day is off, right? So if, say, you go to bed with a stomach ache, I'm sure you've gone to bed with a stomach ache before. Do you notice how your sleep is affected? Because your focus, your brain and your thoughts are focused on your stomach ache, and your stomach and your body as a whole is focusing on what's going on in your gut. Maybe you ate too fast. Maybe you ate too late. Maybe you ate something that, your body is intolerant to. And maybe you don't even know it yet. So there's lots of things that can happen when you have a stomach ache before going to bed. And then that, in turn, you're waking up all the time. Maybe you're going to the bathroom throughout the night. There's lots of things that can happen when you go to bed and your stomach is uneasy. So what can we do about this? What can we do about our sleep and about our gut health? And first and foremost, take care of our gut, right? So last week we talked a lot about probiotics and medications and things like that for our gut. So probiotics and prebiotics, super awesome for your gut. So that would be like, vitamin supplements of sorts, great line of defense for keeping your gut healthy and in balance. And that leads into, a healthy diet, gut-friendly foods, limiting processed foods. Like, we want to be more on the spectrum of, like I learned in school, the spectrum of the farm. They call it Farmer Jane. And then the other side of the spectrum is highly processed food made in a factory. So if you can get more of the organic, farm foods on this side and stay away from the processed foods on this side, that's a great start. Limiting sugar, limiting fast food, limiting fried food, things that would be harder on your stomach to digest. Our stomachs love, leafy greens. They love light foods, water-rich foods, fiber-rich foods. And then the third thing that we can do, these are all like little habit shifts that you could make. Try to avoid late night snacks and, desserts after dinner, which I'm sure a lot of you are already going, I can't do that. Like, I need something sweet after dinner. I have to snack before I go to bed, midnight snacks, of course, right? But if we eat 2 to 3 hours before we go to bed, it's actually helping our bodies to digest, because we won't be digesting when we go to sleep. Because another thing that happens when we're sleeping is detoxing. I'm not sure if you can hear my dogs, but they're barking at something, as they always are. So anyway, so when we're sleeping, we're also detoxing, and we're, eliminating toxins. We are making space for all of the good things that have to happen, our hormone production, and, a little bit of digesting if you have to, But if your body is so focused on digesting, like if you go to bed, okay, so let's say you ate dinner, 9 o'clock, and you had like a big bowl of pasta and, chicken and salad and breadsticks. Like maybe you went to Olive Garden, who knows? But, or I guess you would order out from Olive Garden these days. But anyway, say you ate a big, heavy meal like that, right? If you ate that at 9 o'clock and you go to bed at 10 o'clock, it hasn't gone very far. Your body hasn't digested it enough so that you can go to sleep and actually detox and actually do all the processes that your body needs to do to regulate those hormones and produce the hormones and, keep your body in that rhythm. So instead, it's focusing all of its energy, all of its resources on digesting, and you're missing out on the detox. You're missing out on the hormone production, which we just said that hormone imbalance helps with regulating your food intake, helps with regulating your hunger and your fullness. And if you have an imbalance of those hormones, it'll likely lead to weight gain and obesity, which we know go to all kinds of issues in our body and our health as a whole. So focusing on eating light at dinner time. Like dinner time can kind of seem like one of those meals that you just like, it's a big meal time, right? Maybe you're sitting down with your family or you're going out to dinner or I guess ordering in dinner. Sometimes your eyes can be bigger than your stomach because it's like the last meal of the day. And, maybe you haven't eaten much all day and you're super hungry. Whatever the case may be, try to eat light at dinner time. And if you do eat something heavy, try to eat 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed. And also, this leads me into the next tip here, taking a walk after dinner. And again, this could be something that you include your family with. If you sit down, have dinner, clean up after dinner, and everybody go take a walk in the neighborhood. This could be a family event, and it helps your body digest. Your movement aids in digestion, which healthy digestion, healthy sleep. So that one is, can sometimes be a little bit challenging because a lot of people they don't want to walk or they don't want to do exercise after you eat, especially if you eat heavy or at nighttime and it's dark or whatever the case may be. But I highly encourage walking after dinner, even if it's like you turn it into a game. Like if you have kids, like, walking around the house, or if you have a backyard, walking around the house, just something to get your legs moving and to get your body moving as a whole. Because when we move our legs, we actually have meridian points in our thighs, on the top of our thighs, that aid in digestion. So if you just sit here and like rub your thighs like this, I don't know if you can even really see me, but I would take my hands like this and rub on the top of my thighs. That can also help get your digestion moving because of those meridian points. So that's why, walking, moving your body, moving your legs in general after dinner is helpful. So all of these ideas, all of these tips, to help you with your gut health and in turn with your sleep quality, like sleep is a habit. It's something that we do, whether you are a night owl and you go to bed at like 1 or 2 in the morning and sleep like a couple hours, like you're still sleeping at some point in your day. But it's a habit, and habit change takes small steps. So rather than taking drastic measures right now, like if you're listening to this and you're thinking, man, my sleep quality really isn't good, or like I don't sleep at all, or like, man, I eat all those foods that she just said to avoid, the important thing here is to try not to judge yourself and to try to just open your awareness so that you have something to shift here. If you're noticing, oh, like I eat dinner and then go straight to bed, maybe there's something there that you can shift. Or I would love to take a walk after dinner. Like there's something you can shift. Taking baby steps to have a bigger reward rather than making a drastic change that's not going to be sustainable. So I'm not saying go vegan all year or like immediately change like a bunch of things in your lifestyle. I'm saying take baby steps, and that's why we're talking about these things that you can do, that you can implement slowly into your daily lifestyle. So as we take small steps, adding in fiber-rich foods to help your gut process easier, things like yogurt, fiber-rich grains like oatmeal, brown rice, quinoa, and there's actually a lot of gluten-free breads and gluten-free flours these days that are quinoa and brown rice based, and they're actually really delicious. A lot of gluten-free breads and gluten-free products like that get a bad rap because of the texture and because of the taste is different. But I promise you there are options out there if you are interested in going that route and experimenting a little bit with different grain-based box products like that. But other things that you can add to your diet are all the berries. Super good with antioxidants, super good for your immune system. Lots of fiber, and you want to get these in their raw state. So like, strawberries, blueberries, blackberries in the produce section. I wouldn't necessarily go for like heavy, like fruit juices, because a lot of times those are, full of sugar. But of course you look at the labels and see. But yeah, so berries, nuts, and all of the colors of the rainbow when it comes to plant-based foods, because our gut loves plants. Our gut loves all the produce, all the fun flavors in the produce section, all the colorful stuff in the produce section. And then another thing that you could add to your diet without going crazy, of course, is dark chocolate. Dark chocolate, in moderation, can not only help with, a fiber intake of sorts, but also with, like, if you have a sweet tooth. So if you're one of those that is a dessert after dinner kind of person, or a sweet treat in the middle of the day kind of person, grab yourself a good quality dark chocolate bar. I'm not talking like Hershey's dark chocolate special dark or whatever it's called. I mean like really good quality dark chocolate that has cacao in it. Cacao is the raw version of cocoa. So it's not processed, and it's its raw state. So that's where the fiber comes from. The fiber comes from that raw cacao plant, not from cocoa. So if you try like 70% dark chocolate bar, or maybe even 80%, but it's going to be a little bit more bitter, but it's going to not only, like I said, your sweet tooth will be happy and your gut will be happier than if you had chosen like milk chocolate or something like that. So again, these are all little things that you can do to help your gut, which in turn helps your sleep, and vice versa. Like they're really close together when you think about it. Your gut and your sleep are so close together. So much happens when you're sleeping. It's so important to get quality sleep. And like I said, sleep is a habit. Everything we've talked about in this series is a habit. And habit change, it takes some time. It takes small steps in order for them to stick. So if you're sitting here thinking like, oh, I have kids, I haven't slept in however many, months or days, I don't know why I can't sleep. All of the excuses. And even like, Dana, what is sleep? Like, geez, I can't even remember the last time I got a good night's sleep. Take that, kind of judgment and doubt and criticism and try to turn it into something of an opportunity. When you have thoughts like that, if you can reframe them into opportunities, like, yeah, I do notice this about myself. How can I make these shifts? I don't suggest making a drastic change, like I said. And try not to criticize yourself. The version of you right now, potentially, that is watching this and listening to this, that is, coming up with all these doubts, this version of you is going to propel you into the version that you want to be. So thank yourself, thank your body, thank your mind for having this awareness and having this open opportunity to, make some shifts. Make the shifts in your life that are going to propel you forward and they're going to help you live longer, healthier, happier. I mean, I'm sure you've slept terribly a night and woken up totally groggy, totally like don't even want to face the world. And I'm sure you've had stomach complications to where it makes you feel the same way. So opening up the awareness of what you could shift, that is what this is all about. And, maybe even just take one of these tips that I said, and try it on and see how it feels. You might not experience change right away because oftentimes that doesn't happen. Like I said, habit change takes small steps. It takes time. And really it takes you just committing to yourself, saying, yes, I'm going to try this. And I'm going to keep my door open. I'm going to keep my openness and my mindfulness around this and see how it shifts and see how it changes for me. So say you want to try taking a walk after dinner. Plan that out. Talk to your family. Talk to your, whoever you live with and get them involved. We're in a space now with quarantine. My dogs are barking again. I apologize. But we're in a space right now where we're quarantined, where we're staying home, where, we're with our families. Like we are given this opportunity to spend time together. And time is our most valuable asset. We can't get time back. So why not use this time to open your awareness and to open yourself to the possibilities and the things that you could shift about yourself and your habits and with your family. So, tell everybody like, hey, we're going to try something new tonight. After dinner, after we clean up, we're going to take a walk as a family. And, if they're not down for it, maybe you try it first and then they will follow. Especially if you have young kids, lead by example. Lead by example in everything you do because they are always watching. Our children are always watching. They may not always be listening, but they're always watching. So what you do in your habits and how you lead your life, that's just the model for them. So, after dinner, you put on your tennis shoes, or maybe if you're in a space where you can, walk barefoot, go outside, breathe in some fresh air, look at the moon, look at the stars if you're in a space that you can see them. And, move your body after dinner and, invite your family, invite your friends, invite people around you that you love to do this with you. And I promise you, you will see a world of difference. So we've tackled quite a bit, and I love all of you that are watching. I'm sorry I didn't say hi to all of you. Hello, everyone that is tuning in over here on Facebook and over here on YouTube. I really appreciate you guys for sticking with me. And, I am always here to support you. And if you want any guidance or want to find out any more about your unique situation, because everybody has a unique situation and a unique unique lifestyle. So if you want to dive in more about yours and see what can be shifted so that you can live happier, healthier, longer, when it comes to your gut health, when it comes to your sleep, whatever you feel is ailing you right now, just shoot me a message. I am here to help you guys. When we're in this space of, like I said, we're in this space of quarantine, like the more support that we can have from our friends, our family, the better. So I'm just here to support all of you guys, and you can do absolutely anything you put your mind to. Like if you're sitting here thinking like, I don't know, Dana, like I don't know if I can even be helped, you can. You can do absolutely anything. There is no age or time that says you can't do anything. You can always shift your habits. You can always shift your life. You just have to believe in yourself first. And when it comes to your gut and it comes to your habits, just by shifting one aspect of you, let's just say your gut, one aspect of you, it affects your brain, it affects your body, it affects your sleep, it affects everything. So I am here as always. Shoot me a message if you have any specific questions that maybe I didn't answer, or pop a question in the live if you want me to answer it publicly. That's fine too. And of course, share this this video with your friends and your family, or anyone that you feel struggles with sleep. Because remember, today was all about sleep. So share. If you haven't found me on YouTube yet, find me on YouTube. Growing Gratitude, and my name, of course. I think I'm getting a delivery because that is a lot of working. But yeah, so like, subscribe, and share my YouTube channel. I'll be sure to post it in this chat, but it is in my bio. And you can also find me on Facebook, Growing Gratitude, and I'll post that link in here as well. Again, I'm just here to support all of you guys. And I do have one thing I want to ask of you. This was a lot of content. Maybe you learned something new. So drop in the comments anything that you learned today. I would really love to see what intrigued you about this video and what you learned and what you're taking away. So let's see. Hi, Suzanne. Walking a lot in the day, blowing it off walking after dinner. Yeah, if you've tried it before, you can do it again, right? So absolutely, get out there, take a walk. It doesn't have to be a long one, 5-10 minutes maybe. Yeah, but just get moving, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much. So yeah, like I said, we have one episode left of this particular series, and next week is another juicy one, and we're talking all about sugar. We're talking about sugar and our gut, which I'm sure a lot of you are already thinking, like, oh my gosh, I could never give up sugar. That's not what I'm going to be asking of you. No, but remember, this is all about opening your mind, opening your awareness, and really thanking yourself, for tuning into this kind of content to see what can be shifted in your life. So thank you all so much for being here, and I will see you next week as we dive into everything sugar, not only how it affects our gut, but how you can cut the sugar habit if you are in the market for learning how to cut the sugar habit without losing sweetness in your life. You can still have sweetness. You can still have all the joy of sweetness. But if you know that you will overdo it, you definitely want to tune in next week. So thank you all so much. And again, please drop in the comments anything you learned today, whatever value you're taking from this video. And I hope I see you next time. Bye.